When the Gulf War began in 1991, the U.S. military deployed over 132 Thunderbolt II close-air support aircraft, armed with a powerful 30mm GAU-8 Avenger rotary cannon, with a fire rate of over 3,900 rounds a minute. The GAU-8 is so powerful that it requires a meticulous approach to operate correctly. As footage from the U.S. military shows, the ammunition feed system is double-ended and allows spent cases to return to the munitions drum without affecting the aircraft's center of gravity. A pilot could empty the 1,350 ammunition drum in less than 20 seconds, and despite knowing the tremendous firepower he had at his hands, Captain Robert Swain could not believe what he did over the skies of Kuwait on February 6, 1991. As the captain encountered several Iraqi helicopters close to his location, he engaged them without hesitating. In fact, one single burst of his Avenger cannon was enough to tear apart any Soviet-made helicopter. The AX program. On September 8, 1966, General John P. McConnell, the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, expressed his desire to develop a specialized close air support aircraft. By December, a Requirements Action Directive, or RAD, was issued for a dedicated close air support aircraft for the Air Force. This led to the creation of the AX, or Attack Experimental Program Office. The Vietnam War was in full swing at the time, and the Army and the Marines desperately needed all the air support they could muster to fight off the Viet Cong guerrilla and the well-disciplined North Vietnamese army. The Air Force eventually realized that this new aircraft would also be needed if a war broke out with the Soviet Union in opposition to the Warsaw Pact. In that case, NATO countries would need to respond with an aircraft capable of attacking infantry formations, armored transports, and tanks under any weather conditions. This led the Air Force to issue a more detailed request for proposal for the AX Attack Experimental Aircraft in early May of 1970, and one essential component was to have a gun capable of tearing apart advancing Soviet armor. GAU-8 rotary cannon. While the defense contractors were hard at work developing the CAS aircraft, the U.S. Air Force issued another request for proposal in competition to establish the main armament of the AX platform, a gigantic 30mm rotary cannon. If successful, the AX would become one of the few combat aircraft fitted with such a heavy and powerful armament, and the reasoning behind it was directly related to the ongoing Vietnam War. The 20mm M61 Vulcan cannons, mounted on numerous fixed-wing and rotary-wing aircraft of the Navy, Air Force, Army, and Marines, had proven successful against enemy aircraft and ground targets, but it was not without issues. The Vulcan lacked the required power to put armored targets out of commission, including the Soviet and Chinese tanks employed by the North Vietnamese military and other armored vehicles. Based on that combat experience, a more significant caliber weapon was required to destroy hostile armor and a specific range from which the aircraft could fire accurately. Consequently, the RFP specified that the 30mm cannon had to have a desired fire rate of over 4,000 rounds a minute and high muzzle velocity. Of all the defense contractors, only Phillico Ford and General Electric offered competing designs in June of 1971. The prototype gun was designated GAU-8, and the USAF called for the additional development of 4 different types of ammunition for the cannon: armor-piercing incendiary, target practice, high-explosive incendiary, and semi-armor-piercing high-explosive rounds. Testing the rotary cannon. The first in-flight testing of the GAU-8 cannon took place in February of 1974. It was followed by a second test in June of 1974, when it was fired for the first time with combat ammunition. More than 40,000 rounds of different types of ammunition were fired during 60 test flights to thoroughly analyze the cannon's performance, and it was also tested with different flight profiles to study how it fared for the CAS role. Moreover, the GAU-8 was also tested during aircraft maneuvers such as rolls, pitches, and yaws. The mighty cannon was tried at altitudes ranging from just 100 feet to over 25,000 feet, with up to 5 Gs. The gun was also fired at 155 miles to 477 miles per hour. The trials were successful and helped engineers improve the performance of the rotary cannon. The GAU-8 only jammed once due to residue buildup on the canopy and other minor issues with the gun's ingestion into the engines. When the GAU-8 became operational in 1977 with Republic's A-10 Thunderbolt II, the result of the AX platform, the cannon was dubbed the Avenger. Inspiration. The design of the GAU-8 was inspired by the Gatling gun, which was used for the first time during the last days of the American Civil War, and it has 7 barrels mounted around the periphery of a cylinder. Still, while the 19th century Gatling gun was hand-cranked, the GAU-8 cylinder is rotated by 2 hydraulic motors, making it a repeating weapon with lethal firepower. The rotary cannon measures 19 feet from the muzzle to the rear of the ammunition system, which measures 34 inches in diameter and is 71 inches long. Plus, it weighs 620 pounds, but the drum and the feed system with maximum ammunition increase the load to over 4,030 pounds. Firing the Avenger. The Avenger can hold up to 1,174 rounds, and its power is provided by twin hydraulic motors that allow it a fire rate of 2,100 rounds per minute under its low setting and 4,200 rounds per minute as its maximum. Still, the Avenger is almost fixed to a fire rate of 3,900 per minute to prevent overheating and other mechanical issues. The gun's fire rate is so fast that the magazine runs dry in over 18 seconds of sustained fire. Pilots are trained to fire 1 and 2 second bursts to preserve ammunition and avoid overheating. This firepower puts enormous stress on the 7 barrels of the GAU-8. The expected barrel life is over 20,000 rounds, and the entire weapon system, from the gun barrels to the motors and magazine system, must be meticulously checked after every operation to ensure there are no problems with the double-ended feed approach. In addition, the gun requires strict maintenance, especially when it comes to loading it with new ammunition. Footage taken from the Idaho Air National Guard 124th Fighter Wing shows the process with high fidelity. The servicemen of the 124th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron are seen unloading the GAU-8 ammunition from a Thunderbolt and inspecting it, and the maintenance squadron then loads the GAU-8 feed system with fresh ammunition. Besides the incredible rate of fire of the Avenger, it is also highly accurate and can hit all its targets within its effective range of 4,000 feet with more than 80% accuracy. Its muzzle velocity is 3,320 feet per second, but it varies according to the type of ammunition used. In addition, the gun is mounted laterally off-center, near the port side of the fuselage centerline, to keep the balance of the aircraft and prevent the Avenger's recoil from pushing off the aircraft from its target when firing. Finally, the barrel is located below the Thunderbolt II's center of gravity to further stabilize the aircraft, and the average recoil is over 10,000 pounds of force. To this day, over 700 Thunderbolt IIs have been produced, and the aircraft remains in service. Its effectiveness and acclaim lay primarily on its impressive GAU-8 Avenger 30mm cannon. Thank you for watching our video. Please like and subscribe to our Dark Documentaries channels to find more exciting content about the latest technological innovations. And don't hesitate to hit the bell icon to be notified of our newest videos. Stay tuned.